Hey everyone, it's Jennifer with Rooted in the Rock, and I've got something dropping from the education branch right now. Hey everyone, welcome to Rooted in the Rock. I'm so glad you're here. Today, I'm working on keeping them shorter, guys, okay? I'm going to try not to be so long-winded, but I wanted to share something with you. It's the beginning of the school year. Everything's getting cranked up. Some people have already started. Some people still aren't starting for a couple of weeks. Wherever you may be, hopefully this is helpful. I've been planning on sharing this stuff with you for like over a year. So, I probably should have already done it, but this can help you at any point. If you've already bought a planner, whatever it may be, it'll help. Okay, so as a teacher, as an educator, as a mom, really, this is not just for educators, but it's mainly for educators, but it can be helpful for someone in business or someone at home. It's helpful for planning all kinds of things. But what I want to share with you today is my blank monthly calendar that I created for myself. So what happened is the backstory, I'm going to give you a short backstory, okay? But the backstory is, as a teacher, okay, we need planners. We got to plan out plans. We got to plan around test dates. We got to plan around holidays. We got to plan around all kinds of stuff, right? So as a teacher, you really need a planner, and you got to have a record book and all those kinds of things. Now, a lot of the record books are online, but what happens if there's a glitch? You can't get into the laptop, or the internet is out, or whatever. I just personally always like still having my own paper copy. That way, whether I'm at home, whether I have my computer or not, I can still get to what I need to get to. So I would grade it, put it in the paper copy, and then I would use my planner to put the grades in the computer. And for me, that was just so much more efficient, and it worked better. And that way, if I got an email over the weekend asking a question or asking about a grade, I always had the binder with me. So I did my own binder. Okay, I've tried all kinds of different ones. And the thing with the grade books is the spaces are so tiny. They're so tiny. And I always had a hard time. You have a hard time writing a 3-digit number or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, the spaces were so tiny. And depending on if you're like at a public school, you need more of the lines. But if you were, like I was at a hybrid school, and our class cap was 12. So in those 5-6 years, I had at the other school, it was less in one class and more in another. But I could have anywhere between like 10 and 15 kids, right? So, but I didn't need, like, if I got a regular grade book and it had like 30 spaces, half the page was wasted, completely wasted. So you could draw a line and make but it was not, so what I did is I made my own teacher binder. I did the whole thing. I did different divisions. I made my own cover. Now the binder is definitely important. This is a very particular binder from a particular store. Super tough. This thing has been through the ringer for many years, and it's still in perfect condition, okay? That's not what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about the calendar. I just wanted to share a little bit of the story. So I made my own teacher planner. And part of that, I made my own record sheets. I made my own divisions for the different things. I'll share this another time with you when I can share that better with you. But today I'm talking specifically about the calendar. So specifically the calendar. So if I go to the calendar tab, I got me some pretty dividers that are, actually it'd be better on this side, wouldn't it? I got these pretty dividers, but it's on this side. So we'll go to this side. All right. I got these pretty dividers that are actually clear, but have different patterns on them. And I made myself these different division pages on different colors of cardstock behind it, which I just like it. It's fun. Okay. And then I have my calendar. I made my own calendar pages in design software on the computer. So I used to use, for ages, I used Microsoft Publisher. But the problem is, I've been back and forth between PC and Mac. We're not going to go into that argument. Mac is better. You didn't hear me just say that. But depending on what you need to do, okay, so at times, for a time, I was on PC for a long time for gaming purposes. And I used Microsoft Publisher to make all my like flyers or anything kind of desktop publishing I needed to do. I did in Publisher since college. I've been using it, for a very long time. Okay. I've used it for everything because I know how to do all the things. I know exactly how to do it, and I'm quick with it because I know where all the things are. And then we switched to Mac computers, and recently we switched to Apple. And so Mac OS is very different. It's not that different, but certain things are on different sides or different places. And so I could finagle using Microsoft Publisher, but they've said they're not supporting that software anymore. There haven't been any updates for ages. They're not doing any updates. They're phasing it out. They're not going to use it anymore. So most people use like Adobe, Adobe Illustrator? Not Illustrator. Adobe, one of the Adobes. Okay. One of the Adobe things. So that's like the most popular one. That's the one that everybody uses. So I picked that up, and because I already use that for my photo stuff anyway, or I use Lightroom for my photo stuff. But so I looked at the Adobe naturally because I already had Adobe stuff anyway. But it was so like it does the layers and everything was so complicated. Like just to put, what was I trying to do that day? I don't remember. I was trying to do something simple, and all I wanted to do was like, I don't remember what it was specifically, but it was like put a border around something or I wanted to change the color of a picture of a graphic or whatever. And it was the biggest runaround. I had to like look stuff up and watch videos, and it was the biggest pain in the tushy just to figure out how to do it. It took me forever. And I was like, this is not going to work. I'm used to doing stuff this quick. And so I found a new one. So on Mac, instead of Microsoft Publisher, on Mac, on the App Store, I found one called Swift Publisher. And it's so very similar to Microsoft Publisher, but it's current and on the App Store. And you pay one time, I think it was like $20. I don't remember, but I've used the heck out of it. And I was able to pick it up and use it right away as a replacement, and the operations, how it does things is very, very similar to how Microsoft Publisher was. And for me, it's just been fantastic. That's what I do everything in. I know maybe that's like amateur or whatever, but for me, because I have a particular way I do the work, and I want to be able to do things a certain way, for me it works. Okay. So I have a friend he does art and graphic design and stuff, and he does I think it was Adobe that he was using. I watched him. He's my friend Jim that I had do my logo, and I watched him. He was just bang, 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 bang. He's so fast with it, and I'm like, like I would need some learning, okay, to do that. So in Swift Publisher, I do my own things, right? When I need something, I need a form as a teacher. If I need a worksheet or I need to make up a test or this or that, I use my own publishing software. I just make it myself. Now, sometimes you can find them on Teacher By Teacher or online or whatever the site may be for cheap or free even, but sometimes you still can't find what you're looking for. So when it came to the planner and all of that, I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to make my own, because nothing I can find at the store is exactly right. Nothing that everybody loves the happy planners, right? Those are those planners that use the little discs instead of a binder. It's the discs, and you can make your own pages. So I had gotten a happy planner and I loved it. I found out the next year you can't get a refill calendar for it. You can get certain pages, refill packs of them, but not the planner itself. And I was like, you have to buy a whole new planner just to refill like the calendar and stuff. And I'm like, that's not right. Well, you can buy a hole punch, a happy planner punch, and make your own pages, which I almost did. The hole punch, it's like $30 or $40 by itself. And I thought of that, but with those discs, like, it's so, you can just tear those pages can pop out so easy and fast. I don't like it. And when I would travel, like my bag will go back and forth and it would get so beat up. And because I wanted to keep the cover I had, I liked the cover. It takes me forever to pick a cover anyway. Happy Planner is great for a lot of people, but for me, it just wasn't. So I did my own, and I found this super awesome, super tough binder. Okay, so I made my own calendar pages in the publishing software that I use. So for an example, let me show you. We'll go to July, I guess, because I don't have any, I've already put people's birthdays in it for this year. I've already got it set up for this year. So I like space, y'all. I like to have plenty of space. So what I did is it's a full 8.5 by 11 size sheet of paper. Okay. And I have Saturday and Sunday combined on the first. And then, so it's Saturday, Sunday, then I have Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And it's just a big blank box. Okay. So the months are printed in the file. I have one for each month. I have the months printed, and then there's an empty box, a pretty box in the corner here to put the year. Okay. And that way, because that way I can print this every year. I've used this for years already. I can print it each year, brand new, fresh, clean paper, and I just change, I write the year up in the corner. And then I write the dates. And I have a little box in the corner of each day. I have a little box that I write the dates in custom. And then I go through and I write birthdays and holidays, and I use different color pens. And for those of you like Happy Planner people that like to use the stickers and the pretty stamps or whatever, you can do that too. But this, for me, I can use it forever. Okay. Like, I just print me a new one. Print me a new one. Yes, I'm in the South. Okay. I print a new one for myself every year and just write it in. And I love planning. And so at the beginning of the school year, I always love new school supplies and whatever. I love when I have my brand new planning pages and they're fresh and new. And so I go through, and it helps me remember people's birthdays too, because I forget, but I keep track of all kind of, I would put my students' birthdays in here, teachers I work with, all kinds of those things. I used this actually the way I did it the last year, where I was teaching different grades in different classes during the day, where it wasn't one class all day. Instead of I had planning sheets with lines and subjects and things that I had made for myself as well. But this last year, I just used the calendar for planning. Just the calendar. I printed myself so I had one calendar that I had birthdays and holidays, and this is a day off of school, this is not whatever. I had all that kind of stuff planned out on my regular calendar, and I had a separate calendar. Instead of using the planning pages, I actually printed off a calendar, and then I planned out, excuse me, then I could look at the calendar and have the holidays and plan out, okay, this week we're doing this chapter or this lesson or whatever. I plotted out, because I was doing math and history, and I used a different color for each subject, and I plotted it out on the calendar. And that way, because I hate getting to some kind of holiday or break, right? Like spring break or fall break or Christmas break. I don't like getting somewhere and we're still in the middle of a chapter, or we have, 2 lessons left before the test. Oh, but there's a week off of school or 2 weeks off of school. I hate running into that, because I don't like us being in the middle of something and then having a holiday break and then having to come back and take a test. And you're like, whoa, it's been 2 weeks since I've even thought about this stuff. No, I want to plan it out, and I use the calendar for that. So I actually do my initial planning. Even if I have lesson plan sheets, I do my initial planning with the calendar, so I can plan so that when we have breaks, we're not in the middle of something big, or there's not a project due when you're coming home from a break. Because when people are on a holiday break, they're not going to be working on school stuff. And you know what? It's really not nice to ask them to work on school stuff. It's supposed to be a break. It's a break for a reason. Okay? They don't need to be working on this huge project while they're on a break. Now, if it's a big project and there's only this artsy part of it left, maybe. But generally, I try not to. I don't like to assign people stuff over a holiday break. They need to break, no schoolwork. They need to have a holiday and spend time with their family and have fun, okay? So the calendar helps with that. So I've made my own calendar. So I'll do another episode sometime and kind of show you like the whole planner and tell you where I get these notebooks. And oh, they're awesome. Oh, this thing has been beat to death and it's still ticking, okay? But what I wanted to share, and at the moment, because we're starting school, this is the calendar. Now I've got it put up. Now I remember I've told you before that I was going to have, a website where I could put things that, if you want to pay to download them. So I've got it set up. I've got the link. As far as I know, it's ready to go. If you want to use this calendar, I set it and I price it. I looked on Etsy to see, kind of generally what people were doing for these kinds of things. I priced it at $2 because I'm like, look, this is a calendar that you can print over and over again and use forever. So surely some of them on Etsy were like $1, but I'm like, come on, you can give me $2 to use it. Now, I do put a note on it that this is for a single person. Like, it's really not nice to pay for the download and then be like, send a copy of the file to everybody in the school and everybody print your own. Or, print one for everybody in the school. And no, that's not really nice. This is for individual people. It's $2, y'all. $2, not a big deal. But I wanted to be able to share it. Right now I only have this version of it. This font and this, well, let me show you again. The swirlies on the sides because I like swirly things. So I've made the pages. So it's a PDF download and the file is the entire year. So it's really 24 pages, 2 per month. The months are printed on it, the date, but you have the blank for you have the blank for the year on this side, okay? You punch the non-decorated side. I have that note on there as well. But you just print it, punch it, stick it in whatever notebook you want, okay? And that's that. Completely blank. You put the dates in, all of that. But it's pretty, and I like the pretties. So if you need a calendar, if you don't already have one that you like, I have this blank one. I'm going to put the link on the screen. I'm also going to put the link in the show notes if you want to go download your own copy. There's also a whole bunch of them on Etsy. Some of them are $1. People have done like different fonts and things, but a lot of people do them where it's like specific and you have to buy a new one every year. Mine is just blank. Write the year in and keep using it because that's just the most useful. Anyway, Teacher Pay Teacher probably has some too. I've done a lot of stuff on there, but the thing with Teacher Pay Teacher, it's kind of like a consignment store or sale where they take like 30% or something like that. And when you're selling it for cheap nothing, it's like, oh, please, like, really? Do you have to take that much of my nothing? So I'm trying this out. I've just put it up on my own page, but I have tons of things I can share, and I made record pages too. Some of them are full size and some of them are half, but I made them in the colors to match the binders. I'll tell you about that when I'm talking about because I've made a whole bunch of them for my friends, and I was like, people need to just be able to download this stuff for themselves because it takes a really long time, and I don't mind making them for my friends, but I can't do too many of them in a short amount of time. So, I thought, you know what, I'm going to put it up there so if people want to buy their own, they can buy their own. But it's $2 for the download of the calendar. Eventually, I'm going to have it where you can purchase a set where it's all like all the things all together, like do a big bundle. But for now, the first thing I have up is the calendar, and that is the first thing you start with anyway. The most important. You got to put all your dates and your holidays and days off of school and whatnot so you can plan all the things. So hopefully that is helpful. Very soon I will get the rest of them up with my record pages and tell you about the whole notebook and all of that. But, well, no, let me tell you about, why am I not telling you? Because I'm trying to keep it down to one thing. The notebook, this is the Better Binder. I believe it's called the Better Binder from Staples, okay? They're kind of expensive. You may pay up to like $10. But like I said, I've used this thing for years and it's still kicking, okay? The thing I love about these, and I love the ones that come in the pastel with the matching rubber color, okay? The regular ones, you can get it in a lot of colors, but the regular ones, the rubber part is actually black. So you have to be okay with that. But at the beginning of school, they always have a selection of these pastel ones. But there's rubber down this edge and the edge of the things. And then on the spine, there is rubber down these two edges. So, a lot of times with binders, you use them and then they crack right here and the cover actually splits off. That's not going to happen, or at least it hasn't happened yet. And I've used this thing for probably at least 4 years, back and forth in a bag, being tossed, being squished. Like, this thing has taken a beating and it's still going really fantastically. So I love these with the rubber on the edge. And they're fantastic, and they have all kinds of colors. I've done pink, yellow, teal. I've done all kinds of them for my friends and my daughters. But this binder to me is the best. And then I've made different covers for different people. But anyway, you can go to Staples and get one of these. You can order them on Amazon, but they're more expensive than just going to the store. So watch out for that, okay? But this is the binder I recommend for pretty much anything. I have a little half-size binders of this same kind of binder as well that I use for my Rooted in the Rock planning stuff. I have a half-page calendar that I have in that one. The A4, I think it's A4, I don't remember. But anyway, get you a Better Binder. And then get you a calendar so you can start planning. If you have not, a lot of you have probably already started planning, but if you want to switch over, you're not happy with the one you have, I offer you mine. Or like I said, you can look on Teacher Pay Teacher, or you can look on Etsy, and there's all kinds of them. Okay, so remember, my link is here. I on this, but check the notes. It'll be in the notes for the video if you want to go purchase mine. If you do, yay, cool, thanks. If you don't, yay, I hope you find what you're looking for, and hopefully that helps. So have a great week. Okay, that was lame. Start over. Don't look in the light. Go back. That was way longer than I meant it to be. A whole new... There's my mom calling. I'll call her back. Start that over. Such a teacher nerd.